Now let's move on to some sport. Football. Gillingham lost to Peterborough United 3-1 at home in League One, while in League Two, Crawley were beaten 1-0 at home to Stevenage. Moving swiftly on, time for a look at the weather. Sara's here, and you've been out and about today, looking at how the recent cold snap has, don't tell me, delayed spring?
Just a little bit,
No.
just a tiny little bit. The thing is, it's like, when does spring start? That's always the big question that we get. There are lots of different ways to just start the marking of the different seasons. In climate and meteorological terms, we might consider the calendar months of December, January and February to be winter, and then you move into March and you're into spring. If you're a keen gardener, you're probably looking for signs in your gardens. Of course, we've got so many beautiful big houses here in the southeast and country attractions, and there the gardens are key. So I spent the day at one of them searching for spring.
Mid-February in the southeast. On a grey, wet day like today, we're reminded that it's still winter. But with 2.5 more hours of daylight now than in the depths of December, and almost twice more power in the sun, the new season is not far away.
It's been an incredibly long, dark winter, and this year, perhaps more than any other, some of us are desperate for signs of spring. Even on a gloomy, wet day like this, here at Hever Castle, those signs are starting to emerge.
The castle is renowned for its annual Spring Spectacular, seen here last year, with 90,000 snowdrops as the centrepiece of the display. Last week's big freeze has slightly delayed things this year, but head gardener Neil Miller says that's part of the challenge.
It's been difficult for us all with COVID, but as a gardener here at Hever Castle, my boss has been Mother Nature. She controls what I do on a daily basis, so total respect for her.
Well, we're lucky enough to be in amongst all of these, Neil, because normally you'd be off on the path. So talk us through what we're seeing here.
With snowdrops, you can pass them by, you really can, but you need to kind of get up close really to them. And here, look at this one here. This is called Grumpy, and when you look up close to it, it really has a grumpy face on it. Stunning. And this one here, a very unusual one, it's a yellow one, has the yellow kind of tip to it, and that's called Wendy's Gold. And some of these bulbs, I think a few years ago a bulb went for over £1,000, one called Golden Fleece. So these yellow ones are, quite special.
Although the castle is not open in its usual capacity, local residents are able to take their exercise in the grounds. In addition to snowdrops, there are quinces, boars, and of course daffodils emerging all the time.
This is at the start of spring. We then have the crocuses, then we have literally tens of thousands, probably over 100,000 daffodils. That will move on to the tulips, and that kind of takes us right up to kind of the end of May. So a good old transition of colour and scent.
Staff here are determined to share the signs of spring optimism with those not lucky enough to live near Hever Castle. The emerging snowdrops and the other spring flowers will be shared on the castle's social media feeds in the coming weeks. Something to look forward to.
Miserable, but it was absolutely beautiful, and I'm quite confident that spring in feel is on the way through this weekend. But we've got a couple of days with some more wet weather to come and grey skies like we had today. It is the weekend, particularly Sunday, when those temperatures start to lift. So as I say, it was wet and miserable today, and it's still pretty gloomy at the moment. Skies clear for a time overnight tonight, but I think by tomorrow morning we've got the next belt of cloud moving in, and that will bring us our next belt of wet weather. Temperatures then holding up 6 or 7 degrees, and at first dry, but then its outbreaks of showery rain started to move in and potentially becoming heavier as we move through the lunchtime period. In from the west, like today, off towards the east, still a hangback of cloud and a bit of drizzly weather as well here and there at times through the afternoon. Temperatures at 10 or 11 Celsius. Yes, like I said last night, above average for the time of year. It doesn't feel great though in that cloud and rain. But then we get a little ridge of high pressure tomorrow night into the start of things on Friday. And then I'm just going to direct your attention to this wet weather system out towards the west, which will slowly try and push its way towards us through Friday, but actually probably doesn't make an awful lot of progress. So I'm a bit more confident for some dry weather on Friday. Yes, it's clouding up all the time, but a lot of that rain will stay further west. It will have been a chilly start, but temperatures with some sunshine up to 11 Celsius. And then last night I promised you that the temperatures were set to rise. Here it is on the air mass chart then. We do keep the yellows and oranges through the weekend as we draw up some air from the south. Now at the moment this is all really dependent on having some good spells of sunshine on Sunday. But if we do and we stay dry as it looks at the moment, we could be even higher than 15 degrees, 16, possibly 17. I'd take that, would you?
Oh, I'll take that. Lovely. Thank you very much. That's really cheered me up. Thank you, Sara. That's it from me for the moment. I'm back with your late news at 10:30. In the meantime, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Life feels like a broken record. Staying home, keeping our distance, it's a tough time. We know our physical health is important, but our mental health is too. So, how are you? Maybe we can help. BBC Headroom has everything you need, including inspiring stories, tips to get you motivated, playlists to lift your mood or calm your nerves. Look after yourself and your mind too.